solve this problem. It says Kenny is planning to plant a rectangular garden. So I drew a little rectangular garden here, 10 feet longer than it is wide. So here's the width, here's the length. The length is going to actually be the width plus 10. Now, the way that you find the area of a rectangle is to multiply the length times the width. So we could do length times width equals, we know it equals 200. But since we actually know that the length is W plus 10, I'm going to put that in its place. W plus 10 times W equals 200. Okay, so everybody understand what we're doing here? I'm just doing the length times the width to equal this. I know it's going to equal this because I know that's the area. Now we're going to distribute this W. Okay, W squared plus 10W equals 200. Since we have a squared and then we also have the same variable again, we need to solve this like a quadratic. So I'm going to subtract 200 from both sides. When you do that, you get W squared plus 10W minus 200 equals 0. Now, since I set it up equal to 0, I can solve this by factoring. I know everybody hates factoring this, right? I'm going to factor this. So I know that to get the W squared, it's got to be a W in the first spot. We're going to do a double distributive property here to get back to this. And so I need to know to get this first term, W times W is W squared. To get this 200, I could go 1 times 200, or I could do 2 times 100. But I have to get something that's going to have a difference of 10. Okay, so that's the tough thing that you have to figure out. How can I get a difference of 10? And I believe a difference of 10 would be 40 times 50. 40 times 50. That's going to be too big, isn't it? I'm going to have to try something different. Let's do 20 times 10. How about that? Let me undo here. Let's do 20 times 10. That ought to work. 20 times 10. 20 times 10 is 200. Okay. And that has a difference of 10. I'm going to do plus the 20 minus the 10. You should always check this. W times W, W squared first. The outer terms minus 10W. Inner terms plus 20W. That's going to get us our plus 10 in the middle. Positive 20 times negative 10 is negative 200. So this does work. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Okay. Let's go back and finish this. Now, since I have this factored correctly, I know that each of these factors could equal 0. So W plus 20 could equal 0, or the W minus 10 could equal 0. And if I solve each one of these, I get W equals negative 20, or W equals positive 10, right? This one I just subtracted 20 from both sides, and this one I added 10 to both sides. Now, the width could not be a negative 20. That doesn't make sense. You can't have a negative length. So I'm going to automatically get rid of this one, which means the width has to be 10. So the question says, write an equation that models this problem. Oh boy, I just did more than I needed to do, didn't I? So all you needed was the equation, but I solved it for you as well. I couldn't help myself. So the answer would be width of 10, length of 20. But the equation that you would have done would have been right here. And you could have written it like this: W plus 10 equals 200. Or you could have written it like this: W squared plus 10W minus 200 equals 0. This top one would probably be acceptable to most math teachers I know, depending on what they're trying to get you to do. So there you go. Sorry I did more than I was supposed to.